Only once in the entire whole Quran does Allah talk about Ramadan, and for Muslims all over the world, when we think of Ramadan, the first thing comes to our mind is fasting and food. Oh my brothers and sisters, the first day is gonna be a long day and I'm gonna be so hungry and thirsty. And we start thinking food and drink immediately over and over again. It's Osama An-Nashar and this is my podcast. Fasting isn't something unique to the Muslims. It has been practiced for centuries in connection with the religious ceremonies by Christians, Jews, Hindus, Jains, and many others. The Roman Catholics, some Native American and Native North American societies, past nations of the old world, such as the Assyrians and Babylonians, they all associated fasting with penitence and purification. They fasted to avert catastrophe or to serve as a penance for sin. So it wasn't all about food or being hungry or thirsty or even understanding the compassion towards the deprived. Allah mentions in the Holy Quran, O you who believe, fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم. Why is that? Allah says, so that you may develop God consciousness. لعلكم تتقون. Islam is the only religion that has retained the outward and spiritual dimension of fasting through centuries. Selfish motives and desires of the base self alienate a man from Allah. The most unruly human emotions are pride, gluttony, envy, anger, and those emotions by their nature aren't easy to control. Thus a person must strive hard to discipline them. We fast to purify our souls. It puts a bridle on the most savage human emotions. We Muslims fast to develop self-control. It is all about controlling all bodily pleasures. Not only is food forbidden, but also any sexual activity. All things which are regarded as prohibited is even more so in Ramadan. Each and every moment during the fast, a person suppresses their passions and desires in loving obedience to Allah. This kind of consciousness of duty and the spirit of patience is to strengthen our faith and gain self-control. A person who abstains from permissible things like food and drink likely to feel the conscious of a sense. A promoted sense of spirituality is to break the bad habits, for example lying, gossiping, and wasting time. But what do we think about food in Ramadan? Have you ever stopped to consider what relationship you've got with food in Ramadan and fasting, or even in your life in general? If you are interested to know all about it, just keep on watching. I'll be right back.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already! Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive.
We don't often think we've got the relationship with food, and yet we do, and it's kind of pretty intimate. Think about this, we spend as much or more time with food than we do with anything else, like worshipping Allah or spending time with beloved ones or even doing an important thing. And consider this, food is only fuel for living. That's all, nothing else. And yet it is becoming so much more to all of us. We use food for pleasure, we use it for comfort, we turn to food when we're sad, depressed, hurt, bored, or lonely. We use food to socialize, we use it as a gift. Food can also be a chore. Food can also be associated with marriage, especially in Egypt. Sometimes food becomes an obsession. It definitely can be an addiction. Food is the center of many billion-dollar industries. The huge food-related industries are the center of much more of our relationship with food. Restaurants, fast food chains, convenience food, agri-businesses, distributors, grocery chains, snack foods, bakeries, coffee shops, dessert chains, health food, diet food, supplements, bodybuilding food, and many others. These spend billions upon billions every single year trying to get us just eat more and more food, their food in particular. And the horrifying thing is that all this advertising really works. We've been convinced that the answer to almost any problem is food. You truly love someone, buy him chocolates, or take him a restaurant, or cook him a meal. Want to lose weight? Eat diet food. Want to get fit? Take our supplements. Want to be healthy? We've got you the healthy product. Want to reward yourself? There are too many options to name here. Don't have time? Our food will definitely save your time. Want to save money? Buy Super Size and save your money. Oh, do you want to lose weight in Ramadan? By eating, apparently, like you're stating the obvious. Eat diet food and drink diet shakes, eat zone bars, eat vegan products, drink our diet soda. Food is apparently an answer to everything. And we forgot that food is just a fuel. We need to eat a certain amount to live, and if we eat more than that, we will store some fat in our body. But what if we just ate less? We don't need to eat as much as we do to survive. Sure, maybe eating that much is fun and will stave off boredom. And it's fun to do with friends and family, especially in Ramadan and so on, but we don't need to eat that much. I know the problem isn't that it's too difficult to eat less or more. The problem is that we have a complicated relationship with food, and that started when we were toddlers and has become more and more complicated through years. But let's make use of Ramadan and control our bodily pleasures and desires, start building a new relationship with food. Stop eating when you're bored, out of habit, or as a reward, or even for pleasure or comfort. Only eat what and how much we need. Stop obsessing so much about food. End your addiction with a certain food, like sugar for example. Think about it, how much simpler Ramadan and fasting and your life in general would be if you could end this complicated relationship with food. Some changes that might happen. You just spend less time thinking about food and think of other better things to do. You just spend and your sisters, wives, mothers less time preparing food and getting off the pressure, cooking too much. You just spend less time on food. You'd eat less. You get much better and healthier. It is incredible that in the Holy Quran, when Allah has introduced us to the month of Ramadan, He hasn't introduced fasting, food, or being hungry and thirsty. Allah says the month of Ramadan is in which the Quran was sent down. So the first thing we need to think of during the month of Ramadan is Quran. So if you want to fulfill the purpose of Ramadan, then it has to be completely and wholly for Quran. It is the real guidance for all of us. We've got to start reading Quran, studying Quran, reflecting, thinking of Quran like we've never read it before. If you're ready to reach this part of my podcast, I'd like to thank you so much and say Ramadan Mubarak. Wish you to have blissful days, and may the peace and the mercy of Almighty Allah shine upon you and your beloved ones.